Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan, and I've been fortunate enough to meet a few of the stars from Twin Peaks, the series, and Fire Walk With Me. Now, the first person I met was Chris Isaak, and he was very sweet, very nice. But the second person I met, amazingly, was Sherilyn Fenn. Now, I loved Sherilyn Fenn, of course, as Audrey on Twin Peaks, and she also did a show called Rude Awakening, which was on in the late 90s. And it actually went for 3 seasons on the Comedy Channel, and fortunately they're all online on YouTube now. So I watched it for a year or so, but I missed a lot of episodes. I probably saw about 20 episodes out of, I think, maybe 40 or so they did. I think they did about 15, 20 a year. I'm not sure now. I lost count. But she was really good in that. The show was a little bit interesting, a little bit sort of off. It was one of those comedies without the laugh track, and it was kind of cheap, but it was kind of nasty and dirty in a good way. So it kind of worked. It was interesting, and her character of Billy Frank was very interesting, and I mean Audrey was interesting as well. And she appeared at, I think it was the Supernova Convention, and it was the same year as The Return, and it was a couple of weeks before The Return. So she couldn't talk about anything in The Return, and it was maddening to not be able to ask her anything about, is she in it? I think we knew she was in it, but we didn't know what her role was and what happened to Audrey and so forth. And we all know how that went. And it was very frustrating. But she was able to talk about everything else, like everything from the original show and from any other work she did. But it was kind of surreal. Like went to the autograph line and she was sitting there and she looked amazing. I just was like, oh my God, it's this little Audrey Horne. And I stood in the line, I went there and I chatted to her and she's really friendly. And the lady before me had gotten a hug off her. And I don't know why, but I just asked. Well, she's been really friendly. And I said, can I get a hug? And I'm like, oh my God, did you do that? I did that. And she gave me a hug. She was really nice. And she looked really good. And we got a photo and she looked really nice. And she remembered. She's just really friendly, just really sweet, professional lady. Just wonderful. And then when we had the Q&A session, it was like a big sort of arena, but a big sort of stage and sort of area in that sitting area in that, because they had a whole bunch of them. Just this is like a big convention center, and sort of each of the actors sort of has their own sort of area. And so I went in and I wanted to ask her a question because I think I talked about Twin Peaks, but I wanted to ask her about because her character Billy Frank in Rude Awakening has addiction problems. She's an alcoholic. And I wanted to ask her if that was something that she'd dealt with or she'd had experience with. And the people came around to ask you what you were going to ask and sort of screen the questions. And they're like, you can't ask that. And I said, okay, I'll ask her something else. So I made up something else. And then when she actually asked, it got to me and I got to speak to her. I said, when you were doing Rude Awakening, did you have to do any research into alcoholism to be able to play the character, or did you have any experience yourself? And she knew I was asking about her, and she said, I did have some experience with that in my life, and she went on a little bit about that. So she got what I was asking, and she answered the question, but I didn't actually get to directly ask you, did you have a problem with addiction? So was it something you related to, and you did the show because it was something that was sort of important to you, and I think it was. So that was sort of what I got from it. But it was very sort of treading on eggshells, sort of going around the topic to actually ask the question and get it answered. But she was really wonderful. The guy next to me asked her about 5 questions in a row. She called on him and he just kept asking questions, and I'm like, oh my God. I was sort of sitting here like, oh my God, is he going to stop? Because everyone's like just looking at him like, oh my, why does this guy keep going? And he was so excited, he just kept asking her questions. He sort of forgot the rest of the room was there. It was funny. But she handled it very well. And I'm really glad I met her. She was wonderful. And that's all I have to say. Oh, and then of course she did The Return, and of course it just raised more questions. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I wish I'd met her afterwards so I could have asked her about this and this and this. And it's like, I hope I get to meet her again. It was really frustrating to not be able to ask her about what she did in Twin Peaks, not know what she did in Twin Peaks Return, and then to see Twin Peaks Return, I think it was a month or so later, and have all these questions and be like, I just met her and now, you know, I can't ask her, and what's the chance I'm going to meet her again and get the chance to ask her any of these questions. So it was still great though. So yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Have you met Sherilyn Fenn? Was she wonderful? I bet she was.